Hello, my hosts, and it's doing that again. And welcome to another editing stream. Today we are continuing to edit. So let's get on to that. All right. Go back. Their credit card numbers and such like. So the universal function takes a number and returns that number's characteristic function. The characteristic function would then take a separate number and tell you if that number belongs to that subset. Note, there doesn't have to be animation. Let's go. Media. There we go. Media. Goes. All right. Oh. Hey. Hi, Boogie Boogie. And Jordan. Air fried taters. That sounds so tasty. Okay. See you later. And that is animation I want to do. Let's do some color correction. No, that's audio. I want color. And that's the wrong stream. Media. Timeline. We're going to call this one books. Now we color correct. Just play this in a loop. Now it feels a bit too intense, and you can see that from the curves there as well. So let's see if we can adjust this a bit. So less saturation. Like that. I think that looks good. Ah, is this an overall project? Ah, this is a bit of editing for an upcoming video that I am doing about about the about a certain mathematical law. So let's just jump back to that. I do a lot of maths education videos, so and we have these books fly around. Laying down the law, yeah. All right. Editing. Let's go back to the main. Here, number belongs to that subset. Note, there doesn't have to be any logical relationship between a particular number and what characteristic function it would correspond to. It would be like, so that bit is where I add the animation with the books. It would be like if you had a library full of books about particular functions and you happened to number every book with a particular number, or maybe an encyclopedia, perhaps. There we go. All right. My leg is a bit twisted, yeah. That fixed it up, I think. I think what we'll do is stick an adjustment clip here. It would be like if you had a library full of books about particular functions and you just happened to number every book with a particular number, or maybe an there it goes. Now what we can do with this, go into that. Get our media. Catch it like that. Optical flow, this calculates all the differences between each frame. And then time stretcher, and it uses those calculations to make a nice extrapolation of what is going to happen. So 809. Oh, did I type that right? Oh, typoed. All right, now when we play it, we get a very smooth animation. Although a little bit janky because the system tends to take a bit of time to calculate. There we go, so. Yep. Ah, good. It's all getting cached. That is what we like to see. Then when it loops around again, it should be nice and fast because everything's cached. I hope. All right. Goes. Let's see what happens. Oh, there. Oh, let's adjust myself. What are we doing? Yeah, that's exactly what we want to see. This is mostly here to be evocative of picking out bookshelves. Oh, there it goes. Now, it would be like if you had a library full of books about particular functions, and you just happen to number every book, particular number, or maybe a encyclopedia, perhaps, or integer sequences. Uh, or maybe an encyclopedia, perhaps, or integer sequences, which would be online. That is a direct reference, and I need to get a online encyclopedia of integer sequences. Encyclopedia of integer sequences. Goes OEIS. Ah, oh, what's my leg doing now? Oh, that looks painful. Drift so badly. I wonder if I do that. Does that help? Nope. Well, there's one way to fix this. My twisted pet. Just give me a moment, and I will do a bit of calibration. Calibration of the nation.
Start calibration. Please assume a pose. Please assume T pose. Please assume S pose. Please assume B pose. Complete. Calibration complete.
That's a little bit better, I hope. Sure. Uh, OLES. Uh, There we goes. Well, that's not going to work. Nobody can tell what that is. So let's just change the zoom, change the position, bring it down a bit, bring it up. All right. That's better. Compose, cropping, reframe. That's not what I want. What I want is the visibility. Ah, there it is. Start like that. Bring it up. Move it forward. Keyframe that. Bring it down again. Maybe an encyclopedia, perhaps, of integer sequences, which would be online. The inverse of this function would take a power set. All right. Let's number. There we go. Let's go with the would take a power set. Because every property of the counting numbers corresponds to a subset, like all the primes, all the the inverse of this function would take a power set and turn it back into the characteristic number for that particular set. Oops, I misspoke there. The inverse of this function would take a power set. That would not be correct. I am going to put a correction there. Would take a power set and turn it back into the... That should be long enough for people to read it. That. Bring in the text. Overlay it. There it goes. I think it'd be better formatted if it's like that. Shift you across. Make you a little bit bigger. I want that prominent because I don't want people to misunderstand me. There we go. Shading. Enable that. Make that black. Make it text. Make it sort of somewhat see-through. Give it rounded borders. We've got the classic YouTuber subtitle style. There. The inverse of this function would take a power set and turn it back into the characteristic number for that particular set. It would sort of compress all of the. I wonder if I could have a search for compression on Google Images. Ooh. I just had an idea. Compression. Socks. There we go. For yeah. I'm currently looking at stuff related to compression. In fact, programmer socks. Uh, it goes. Uh-huh. driven. Listen, actually, that reminds me, I should get new stockings. Of course. Haven't. Okay, this is a good image. Ah, there it goes. There. Ah, all right, there it goes. Okay, let's save that image. And another image. Ah, there. Uh, where's this one? Open link to original image. Open, there we go. All right. Now, soon you'll be seeing what I'm seeing. Those two into there. All right. Oh, that was silly of me. How did that? All right. So I know this isn't particularly visually appealing. Okay, so go particular set. It would sort of compress all of these numbers back into a single number. There it is. Oh, nice lime. Okie dokie. Now we can remove this white background by throwing in a luma keyer and adjusting the thresholds. Why isn't it? Should allow. Okay, let's switch to invert. There. Just up. Also do throw in a rectangle. Not into there, into there, I think. Okay. All right. That kind of looks right. Go there. Blend it away to 0. Bring it up. Just be. Let's just allow the people to free associate. There it goes. Compress all of these numbers back into a. We'll have that come up just briefly. Oops. Going on this theme back into a single. There. Yes, they are. Ensure proper blood flow while programming. All right. It would sort of compress all of these numbers back into a single number. We are also supplied with a witness that can I have a witness? Witness me. Actually, that's an idea. Let's go. What were they called? Let's go max. Ah, War Boys. Yeah, I think that's the best image. All right, so that's not still. I want something still. Let's filter tools. What? Mad Max. War Boy. Uh, Okay, just got to find something. Hopefully from a promotional thing. There. All right. Save that image. Now, can I import an AVIF file? I don't know. But we will find out together. We are also supplied with a witness that the inverse. We are also supplied with a witness that the inverse function inverses the forward function, and a witness function witness that the forward oh, and a witness function witness that and a witness function witness split that off there. Why is that not? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted all of that to be ripple deleted. Yeah. Oh, let's go like that. Move that back into there. Function witness that. All right. The inverse function inverses the forward function. Witness that the forward function is the inverse's function inverse. Okay, that sort of works. Satisfied with a witness that the inverse function inverses the forward function. Witness that the forward function is the inverse's function inverse. Yeah, all right. That's fine. Let's see what happens. We drag this into here. Come on. What's it doing to me? Nope, doesn't know how to do that. So what I'll do is a little bit of magic in the background. There is a great little visual editing bit of software called Critter. And it's very powerful and very effective. And most of the stuff I use it for is converting one file format to another. Every time I see the Critter logo person, I feel like I'm doing her a disservice by just using her as a bit of exported as a PNG. Yep. Okay. Now we have our war boys. Good. We are also. Hold on. Uh, okay. So pull that in. Like that. Gotta go magic mask. Oh, why is it not? There we go. That's what we wanted. Hold on. Gonna go track forward. That's fine because it doesn't need to do anything. Uh, okay. Now on your body. Let's put a bit of text. So do I have the text I want already generated? Let's check. Uh, doesn't look like I do. That's fine. We'll fire up a bit of the LaTeX and just generate that. Uh, so I want F1 circ D. We output that. Call that one a witness. There. Move it to there. All right. Overlay it like that. Move it on up to his chest. Shrink it down a bit. Let's Christmas play that movie too, since it has drop bears and stuff. Yeah. I'm actually gonna do render 3D. Let's try something a bit tricky. Uh, 3D. It's shape 3D. Shape cylinder. There it goes. Oh. Now I'll adjust the radius, the height. What? Why doesn't that go? Ah, there we go. Okay. Height, position. Well, it's sort of kind of approximating the guy's body. There, okay. Material. I want to change the material to be media 2. How do I do that? Some of these things I go Ah, there we go. So now it's across his body, and I just got to change the scale. Oh, which we can actually do with an X form. Yeah, okay. Okay. So adjust the aspect a little bit so it's more like that. Now it sort of looks like it's tattooed on him. Well, a close enough approximation. There it goes. And this one, I think I'm going to need to explain the joke. Uh, uh, inverse. Is that the left inverse or the right inverse? I always get these two confused. Very dyslexic of me. Let's look that up. Left inverses and right inverses are functions. Okay, collision, left inverse of f. Okay, that is the left inverse. Okay, cool. Left inverse I spelled inverse correct? Uh, INV. There. Expand that a bit. Right. Now, I am thinking I should get myself two important things. Get myself a sandwich and a stretch, which I probably can do at the same time. So I will be right back with the sandwich and some leg stretching. All right. I really want to see what that looks like when I come back after the stream. All right. Well, we've got breakfast or lunch now. Okay, and let's stick a background underneath. Around here. That. Like that. Why is that smaller now? Let's do it the other way. There. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's good enough for a little bit of a thingy joke. Into a single number. We are also supplied with a witness that the inverse function inverses the forward function. Witness that the forward function is the inverse's function inverse. Proofs of the inverse. Also, I'm going to go in here, open up that. This is a neat little trick. You can click on this. Or you could, have they removed that functionality? Yeah, save image. All right. Left. All right. And I'm going to be silly. There we goes. Right, post images. Uh, there we go. Okay. And post. Oh, I must take flare. I guess it's uh, okay. All right. Yeah. There we go. That's on. There. Another silly illustration. We are also supplied with a witness that the inverse function inverses the forward function. Witness that the forward function is the inverse's function inverse. Proofs of the left. These are proofs of the left and proofs of the left. Proof. Oh, it's going to do that again, isn't it? The whole remember that you're a womble thing. Oh, clear that away. All right. Now what's next? Witness that the forward function is the inverse's function inverse. Proofs of the left. These are remove that. Ah, this time it collapsed. Cool. Is the inverse's function inverse. These are proofs of the left and right inverses. These witnesses are basically what ensures. Where do we go? Oh, clean that off. And move a little bit forward. Okay. here, witness that the forward function is the inverse's function inverse. These are proofs of the left and right inverses. These witnesses are basically, we'll go over there, pop that down. These witnesses are basically what ensures the functions behave as inverses of each other. Otherwise, they could just be any pair of functions. With these functions, we can construct a helper function that looks like this. Okay, now we get to the helper function. Uh-huh. Where is that thing? Ah, I'm going to throw in an adjustment clip. Okay. With these functions, we can construct a helper function that looks like this. This anti-diagonal function, which I'm going to represent using a th, because it looks like a backwards capital D, takes a number, looks up that number from the universal function, then applies the same number to the return function and returns the opposite result. However, this is a function from the counting numbers to bool. So returns the opposite result. However, this is a function, result. This is a function from the counting numbers to bool. So we can actually use the inverse function to give us the number for this function as a characteristic function, which I am going to function as a characteristic function, which I am going to oh, must have been getting tired when I did this bit of editing. Yeah. Can we ripple delete that, please? Not like that. Heuristic function, which I am going to label with lowercase d, which I am then going to write backwards. Now, if we feed b back into d, we can construct this monstrosity. And then if we feed that into the witness of these numbers being an inverse, we can expand everything until we get this. Since we know that th b is a Boolean, we can examine the two cases. We can examine the case where th b is true. In that case, we get true equals false, which is obviously false. We can examine the case where that B is false. Then we get false equals true. Again, that has to be false. So we have created an element that must be in the empty type. That is the thing we set out to do. All right. There it goes. F. Yes. T. Set it to float. With these functions, we can construct a helper function that looks like this. This anti-diagonal function, which I'm going to represent using a star. Okay, can I move it forward? What does it do next? Oh no, that's the wrong. That's the wrong thing. I want that one moved forward. Ah, cool. Okay. Ah, that one goes too far. And I think the game's got to crash. Oh, didn't. Okay, cool. Can we? Go there. Okay, that's the next stage. So think about here. Uh, because it looks like a backwards capital D, takes a number, looks up that. Actually, remove that. Go back to 0. With these functions, we can construct a helper function that looks like this. This Okay. Uh, so I need a bit of text here just as a help explanation. Okay. So Unicode. Uh, I didn't. Uh, Woods. Uh, okay. Use for Woods Creek. Okay, that's one. Let's search. So, uh, all right, there. We get the uh, okay, that's the one I want. Cool. Copy that. Paste that there. Now we find a font that supports it. Uh, Right, and why is it chat? Why can't I see my chat? Like, oh, there's my chat. Okay, cool. Uh, why is you being so? There we go. Like, Bring that in at about like this. This anti-diagonal function, which I'm going to go like that. I'll have that come in. Represent using a star. Bring that out like that. Because it looks like a backwards capital D. Takes a number, looks up that number from the universal function. And yep. Apply actually, I am thinking it's probably appropriate to end the stream here. Let's go back to my main room. Thank you everybody for joining me as I did some editing. Tomorrow we'll be back to RimWorld, so I hope you can join me for that. As always, thank you for watching and I hope to see you later. Goodbye.